Hello everybody, welcome. This is Mike Adams, the Health Ranger, reporting for naturalnews.com. It's Monday, March 28, 2011, and of course we're dealing with the Fukushima situation. I'm going to bring you that detail right here. Some breaking news about that. This update is brought to you by storableorganics.com. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. Alright, here's what's happening in Fukushima. The situation is that 3 of the reactors are now doing okay, 4, 5, and 6. None of which were actually operating when the tsunami hit. But number 3, there is a partial meltdown that has been admitted now. 3 is the one with the deadly MOX fuel. Well, all the fuel is deadly, but this is more deadly than the others because it contains plutonium. And now plutonium has been detected in the soil near Fukushima. This is a new report being admitted now by the Tokyo Electric Power Company, TEPCO. They're also admitting that a partial meltdown did occur in reactor number 2. So we have number 2 and number 3 with partial meltdowns. We have cooling systems not functional in reactor number 1. So the bottom line is, out of the 6 reactors, 3 of them are still in bad shape, 3 of them are in relatively good shape. But 2 of the 3 that are in bad shape are in actually terrible shape because they can't get the pumps working. So they can't circulate the coolant to get the spent fuel rods under control. That means this radiation release is likely to continue for not just weeks, but now they're saying months or even years. This is like a slow release dirty bomb. Instead of one big bomb release, it's an ongoing release of radiation into the atmosphere, into the food, into the water, into the air, into the oceans. Now the ocean levels are over 1,000 times normal radiation, and of course the water coming out of the reactors is measured at 100,000 times normal radiation levels. So in fact, there are some of the workers who were in the plant trying to get to the pumps and to the electronics were not able to get there because radiation levels were so high that they were suffering radiation burns on their legs from wading through the water there. There's a statement about that. NISA spokesman Harihiko Nishiyama has said in an article in The Australian, quote, "The problem is that right now nobody can reach the turbine houses where key electrical work must be done. There is a possibility," he says, "we may have to give up on that plan." Well, if you give up on that plan, what do? Basically, you have to bury the whole thing in sand and concrete and forget about it for about 20,000 years or longer, because that's how long it's going to take for some of these radioactive isotopes to decay. Some of the half-lives in these isotopes are 24,000 years, so this is a very long-term problem spanning, the history of human civilization is only roughly 5,000 years, maybe 10,000, depending on who you believe. These isotopes are going to be radioactive for 5 times longer than the entire history of human civilization. It's a very long time. Now, of course, the mainstream media, which is owned in part by the nuclear power manufacturers like General Electric, has gone into spin mode. MSNBC is now beginning to put out these happy green puff pieces about nuclear power. Try to tell you how good nuclear power is for you. Here's one on MSNBC.com today saying that nuclear power will be safe from now on. Don't worry about all the stuff that just happened. Don't worry about that. Focus on the safe power plants they're building today. They say, quote, "The key is humility." Yeah, humility. Because, nuclear scientists, they're not arrogant. No. The next generation of plants must be built to work with nature, they say, and human nature, rather than against them. The puff piece continues, "They must be safe by design, so that even if every possible thing goes wrong, the outcome will stop short of disaster." But why didn't they think of that before now? Why didn't they put this kind of thing into the Fukushima power plant? Because there were engineers who were warning about this back in the 1960s and 70s and 80s and 90s when they were building all these other dangerous power plants that could also go into a meltdown following some natural disaster or some kind of man-made event, in fact. So just like every other industry, they're only going to get to a safe kind of protocol if they're forced to. And right now the nuclear industry is fighting for its life because protesters around the world are marching against nuclear power, especially in Germany, where 200,000 protesters took to the streets over the weekend in 4 major German cities, and now it looks like nuclear power has no future in Germany. It's starting to bring down the politicians there, like Merkel, who had a pro-nuclear power position announced as early as last year. Now back in Japan, Prime Minister Naoto Kan says, quote, "We're trying to prevent a deterioration of the situation." That's what he said last night, which means the situation is getting worse, and they're hoping that they can bring it under control before the whole thing becomes a massive Japanese dirty bomb that makes that whole region of the country uninhabitable for the next 20,000 years or beyond. That's how dangerous this power really can be when it gets out of control, and when you build nuclear power plants right on the coastline where they can get hit by tsunamis and struck by earthquakes. Not a very wise decision. But it's true across all science, it seems. I mean, now they're building the super collider that some scientists say could destroy the universe. Yeah, I don't know how likely that is, but this is just the kind of arrogance that we have in the world of science. They're trying to push all these things on us: vaccines, pharmaceuticals, and psychiatric drugs, and nuclear power, and super colliders, all these other so-called solutions that actually make our lives more dangerous, and GMOs. That's all being done in the name of science. There's nothing scientific about GMOs. It's just all about corporate profits. That's what all this is about, folks. It's about corporate profits in the nuclear industry, in the vaccine industry, in the pharmaceutical industry, and in GMOs as well. It's just the same pattern across the board. The regulators are in bed with the industry. They don't regulate them. They betray the people. They make our planet more dangerous with each passing year and each natural disaster that comes along. They multiply the dangerous levels of natural disasters and make them have much higher fatality levels and much higher costs on human civilization for the long term. So that's the situation now in Fukushima. Thanks for watching. This is kind of a new format we're going to be doing here. I just wanted to be able to bring you some breaking news in a quick, easy format. Nothing fancy, no green screen, no panels, LCD panels, anything. Just basic news that's breaking right now. Get it posted quickly. Thanks for watching. This segment is brought to you by StorableOrganics.com. That's where you can find long-term storable superfoods like chlorella and spirulina and many other superfoods sealed in a number 10 can with oxygen absorbers and moisture absorbers for long shelf life. Some of the products there will last as long as 10 or 20 years on the shelf. So check that out. That's a new product line we have launching at the Natural News store. Thanks for watching. This is Mike Adams, the Health Ranger, reporting for Natural News. Take care.